healthy growl there from the 5-litre V8. G'day there guys, welcome back to the channel. So it's Wednesday morning and today is a pretty important day in that we take the ain't she gorgeous, oh just love those round lights and svelte looks. Anyhow, so we're taking the CL500 for its blue slip or major inspection as a precursor to getting it registered so I can drive it. I mean, it's been like almost, I don't know, it feels like 2 months now since I bought the car, and I haven't really been able to drive. Well, I'm just not allowed to drive it. It's not registered. So yeah. So just can't wait to get it on the road. So strap yourselves in. Let's go. Okay, guys. So we're on our way to the inspection service. This is like really the first time I've driven this car. So my first impressions are that yeah, it's feeling good. The suspension seems to be in order. I think it has that issue with the, I'm not sure what it's called, but it's got like a hum at around 1500 res. You probably can hear it, so that's going to be looked at. Some of these roads here are, as you can see, are very windy, so let's see if we can try and put this car to its healthy growl there from the 5-litre V8. Wow, it feels unreal. Really good. So now, one of the things I have to be sort of conscious of is that because the car hasn't got plates, if we get picked up by a police officer, I have to explain that I've got some paperwork here to show that the cars are going to be registered. But yeah, it's a bit of a pain, but that's what you just got to do. Just you got to explain that you've got a booking for the inspection, which, as I said, is a precursor to the it's a separate action to getting it actually registered with the like the roads authority in this state. So but anyway, we're not doing anything wrong. The car's not unroadworthy. You know, you'd have a problem if you know, if you had you know, I don't know, lights not working, things like that, because obviously that's a road safety hazard. So we don't have that problem, so we're all good. So just hopefully we're all good. It's a beautiful morning. There is rain forecast, so I'm glad in a way that there's no rain at the moment, because yeah, I wouldn't have been able to sort of give the car what I did back then. So yeah, it's good. So one thing I can say for sure is that this feels dramatically different to the S430. I mean, this definitely feels like a sports car. It handles like a sports car. It sounds like a sports car. It looks like a sports car. I drove the S430 yesterday to and from work, and like it is a major difference. So we're here at the service centre now, guys, and we've just dropped the car off. It's there. So it'll be here for most of the day, and then hopefully we get a call later today and say it's all right to go.
The next day.
Hey guys, so back at home, and look what's here. Yes, the car's back. Now I'm not going to reveal what the status of this car is till closer to the end of the video, but good news is that now the car starts a lot easier because we have a proper battery. So before we had that really small battery, so now we've got a proper full-size battery, which is great. So this afternoon, the CL500 came back from the inspection station after being dropped off yesterday. So it was there for all of yesterday and overnight, only because I couldn't pick up the car yesterday afternoon. The mechanic highlighted 6 things, starting off with one of the struts was leaking, so there was hydraulic fluid at the base, or weeping at the base of the strut. He wanted to actually replace the whole entire strut, and I'll get into what occurred after he said that in a moment. Rocker covers needed, gaskets needed to be done. We already know that, so we sort of identified that on the weekend when we were cleaning the engine bay out. There's some issue with the rotors. The front left rotor needs to be replaced, so that's not a big deal. The tail shaft, the donut on the tail shaft is cracked, so again, relatively easy, cheap fix. There's a tyre which has a gouge taken out of it. I don't know, that must have happened, previous owner. And the battery, which we knew about as well, and now that the battery's been replaced, the car starts effortlessly. Geez, that was a big one. So yesterday afternoon, after I spoke to the mechanic and he mentioned that the strut needed replacing, I actually needed to, I was pretty disappointed, as you can imagine, and I ended up just telling him or advising him that I was going to call him back after I'd had a bit of a think about what he was saying. And then I rang a mate who happens to be a specialist mechanic on Mercedes-Benz cars, and he advised me that he hasn't had to replace a strut on an ABC car ever. So what that tells you, that more often than not, it's the other components of the system that are more commonly replaced. I immediately rang him back, and he obviously was not pressuring me to do the repairs, but unfortunately he failed the vehicle on the grounds of the things that we'd spoken about. And so now what I essentially have is 14 days to make good these repairs before I can go back to him, and then he will then approve the registration of the vehicle. However, I am not getting him to do the repairs, and I can only get into my normal mechanic at the end of the month. So what's going to end up happening is that we'll delay or let lapse this particular inspection and start it all over again at the end of the month. I also spoke to my regular mechanic and mentioned this the issue with the strut, and he also has done plenty of work on the ABC system, and I was also advised that he hadn't actually replaced or hadn't had to replace a strut. Not sure ever, but it's a rare occurrence. So, you know, this was a very worrying turn of events, to be honest, because I was just about to say to the guy that did the inspection that he's a mechanic and he operates. He's not an impartial inspector, if that makes sense. So at the end of the day, this is where our system, I think, is a bit skewed, and it's not fair, because this mechanic could easily just bring up all these different issues, which might be minor, but could end up costing thousands. So, and he was literally going to replace a strut and was quoting all sorts of ridiculous numbers yesterday. So by just being diligent about it and just doing a bit of research, I managed to find out that, in fact, that's not what had to be done. Just by doing by going to a specialist, and this inspector mechanic is definitely not a specialist on Mercedes-Benz cars. We probably saved ourselves many thousands of dollars. So that's a wrap, guys. Unfortunately, the car failed the inspection. I've got, as I've just mentioned, I have 14 days to make good those items that the mechanic highlighted. But because I can't get into my preferred mechanic till the end of the month, this particular inspection will lapse, and then I can start fresh with my mechanic, and hopefully he's got a contact that can be sympathetic to the car and do the right thing and pass the car so that we can register it and start to enjoy it. So I think the moral of the story is, depending on where you are in the world, obviously every country has different inspection regimes for cars. I think Australia has probably the toughest. I could be wrong, but I certainly feel that we've got pretty tough regulations to keep cars that are unroadworthy off our roads, and so they should. The last thing we want is to have, roads clogged with old unroadworthy cars that also are environmentally friendly as well. Unfortunately, as my mate here, Homer, says, it's a big dough, and hopefully by the end of the month, after it gets repaired, inspected, we can register the car and start to enjoy it. So thanks for following along with the journey of this CL500. It's far from over. Stick around. Please like, share and subscribe this video and this channel, and we'll bring you some more great content. As a matter of fact, this weekend I've got something really special, a bit different as well. It's the Mercedes-Benz Car Club of New South Wales annual concourse, plus the Sydney German Auto Fest. So I'll bring you some great cars. So stay tuned for that, and we'll see you with the next video.